Hello, welcome. So we'll be speaking about the top 6 because we have a top 5 and then we have number 0, which is always going to be useful in my opinion. And then we'll play a little bit with them and I'll show you how it's used, because some people think a split is good because it's good on paper, but after trying out most of them, I have to say some of them are really hard to pull off and can be easily interrupted, or the animations are too long where their attack range is too short, and other details that people might not be aware of. Also, this is a first playthrough guide, so don't think about the endgame stuff, because certain spirits will be so much better in New Game Plus and beyond that is not even funny. So what are those spirits? Well, there are certain things that stack very well in New Game Plus, where you just make a build and you have very specialized things to work with, and plus a lot more damage. So things like the Flint Vanguard will be much better in New Game Plus, or let's just go to the top takes bottom. But more importantly, I'm talking about the Gorai Daoist, which is amazing in New Game Plus and beyond, because he can buff your attack, and there are not many ways to buff your attacks. I think he can even give you about 100 attack in New Game 4 Plus or something crazy like that, but you have to sit still, you have to do a lot of things that don't work very well in your first playthrough. Or the Aprama Bat. Well, the Aprama Bat can be used all the time if you want. It's just generally not that useful in the beginning when you get it, because it's very hard to use, it's a little harder to pull off, and most of the times you don't really need it. Or even this guy over here, the frog. The frog has a unique mechanic where it can be improved with that pulse to the point where it becomes so much stronger and it deals a huge amount of damage. And it's all going to be elemental damage, and there's also a curio that, if I remember correctly, can ignore some of the defense of the bosses, the elemental defense, so yeah, you can make a lot of crazy builds with stuff like this. So, let's begin. What is my favorite spirit and what is number 0? So number 0, which is the spirit I always use, is non-able. Why is this one so good? Well, I think a lot of people don't really realize, but he gives you 3% crit chance, 6% crit damage, 10 attack, which is amazing because by the point you get them, 10 attack can be about 20% extra damage, which is a permanent bonus. You lose 100 mana, but you can always get more mana because it's very easy to get it in the beginning. Plus, you'll only be able to use your spells once or twice per combat, so it's not such a big deal if you don't have the mana to cast them the second time. It's a very niche thing that you'll need so much mana, and you can just increase it, like I said, with some of the permanent upgrade mechanics. So what is top 5 now? Well, top 5 will be Snake Herbalist, Sharface, 1, 2, 3, Pangayoma, 4 will be the Red Hair Diaksha, and 5 will be the Old Ginseng White. But this is a position reserved for summons, so anything that can summon can replace him. I just like him because it increases the health of summons, which I think it counts also for the monkeys you can summon as well. Otherwise you can replace it, let's say, with the Mother of Flamelings, which summons Flamelings, the guy that summons the snakes, or even the Tick Priest, that Puppet Tick, as he summons a few spiders here and there. Quite creepy if you ask me. Okay, so like I said, you have to think about this in conjunction with the armor set you get at what point. So why non-able? For example, non-able, you can get the golden armor, which can give you more attack, plus more ki, plus the mask will also give you more ki. So you can kind of imagine how good that will be. For example, the snake herbals. I'll not give examples because it will take forever to the video if I just keep giving examples. The snake, if you just give him the... what's that called again? Yeah. The medicine, the focus, anyway, the insect armor. So as you can see, you can gain, first of all, health. You gain about 10% health with each use medicine. But I think it's a little more than 10%. I'm not sure. It's very hard to see. You gain health, you gain focus, and also you can increase the duration of all of the medicinal effects. So what does that mean? Well, it means you can just equip your bar with whatever medicine you have on hand, because you'll just be chugging them down like it's candy, like it's homeopathic pills. But you can also just equip stuff that is very good. For example, you can equip the ginseng pellets, which will give you even more focus when you eat one. You can basically eat 3 of them to restore basically half of your health, more or less, plus a huge amount of focus, plus you can use that to gain more damage. Or you can just eat this stuff over here. Keep in mind that certain pills will have a maximum amount of number held. You can just use those, or you can just use some of the stuff from here, like more medicine, more stamina, and so on. It's kind of crazy, plus the damage is huge because you'll just spill poison everywhere. It's kind of like a big AoE that lasts for a few seconds, so if you knock down an enemy boss, you can spill the poison on him, And then just take a few extra pills to heal. So even if you're out of heals, you can use the pills to heal. You can use that to buff yourself. So it's amazing. Number 2. Scarface. Why is this one? Well, just because of his unique bonus. His unique bonus means you can increase your charging speed. This means you can charge faster your heavy attack. Well, it's not such a big difference if you ask me. Let me show you right away. I think it's about 1 second. It's about 20% faster or 25% faster. But in most situations it will really tell, because you'll be using your immobilize spell with the charge attack and some other situations. So it's actually going to be a massive change. I think it's almost 20% faster or 25% faster, if that's how it works. The skill itself is not so good because it's very hard to pull off, but it does do a lot of damage when you actually pull it off, so that's why it's only number 3. So as you can see, the first two will have passive stuff that is very, very useful to us. Number 3, Fungi Woman. Well, why her? Well, you get 30 more health, which by the time you get it is actually pretty big. It's going to be about, I don't know, depending on how you play, it might be 10%, might be 5% extra health, but it's still a big buff, in my opinion. And also the attack does a lot of damage. The attack does a huge amount of damage that you don't really believe when you see it. Plus, the strike itself deals damage, and then you can also heal because it has a leech effect as well. So you can extend the fights a lot more, you can deal some damage, heal some damage, and also, I don't know, just kind of delay the fight a little more and more. And it's also very useful for farming as well. As you can imagine, these things are also very useful for farming and general playthrough. Plus, if you equip the right curios, these things can be absolute monsters or beasts, and you can just make some really strong builds in the beginning of the game. Now, probably the one that is a bit controversial is the red-haired Yaksha. Why is this one so good? Because it takes a few seconds to fire the arrow, but the arrow, from what I can see, it has infinite range, so you can even shoot those pesky archers that are on a ledge, or if you can just use it against the boss, because this will never really miss, and it staggers quite a bit. And it can also be a great initiator in a fight, or it can be a great way to dispatch an enemy very fast. Plus, it increases your heavy attack damage. So, as I said, most of the spirits are very good because of their passives, except for this one, which is just good all around. Now, why the old ginseng? Why? Because, well, his little ginseng things are also pretty fun to watch, and to see them stumble around is very cool. Plus, they can deal a lot of damage. They can deal about 1000 damage in a few seconds without being in New Game Plus or other stuff. Plus, they can distract the enemies, and also they are kind of interesting to look at. Plus, of course, like I said, the monkey HP. Now, this is not a build you would normally use for this guy, non-able. And like I said, it depends on a lot of other things, like the curios and some other stuff, but I'll just play it normally, so you can see how it is. But even this will be very fun to use. I'm going to fight the Raksha a little bit. I kind of like this art because it's a perfect area to test most of your builds, just because they're super easy to use. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, even if you don't get the full thing off, you can just use one attack and then use them. It's already charged. Oh, he knocked me out of it, see? That's why I say that certain spirits are not as good as they sound. Because you really get to use them as opposed to ones that you can always use. Am I playing bad? No. So let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do the charge leap like that. Then you also do a little charge after you exit the form of the non-able. You can change so many hits and so many combos with this, it's crazy. Let's switch to the next spirit. Now the next spirit, like I said, the snake has a bit of a thing that makes it so much better with a certain build, but you don't really have to adhere to that build. It's also going to be very strong as it is, plus against a few enemies it will be even better. So you can even use it to farm, which is the crazy thing, because you don't really have a lot of spirits that help you farm. You see, I can also upgrade it to the max. So we can have a little more damage. Yes. It was successfully cultivated. Now this one is very easy to use because it has a low key cost, but it's also useful from another perspective. I guess the only downside is that you need a few seconds of being left alone forever, otherwise you'll get interrupted much faster. But because you can use this so much more often, and like I said, with certain builds, it's really going to be fun. But the game restricts you to a single set of armor after you finish New Game Plus. So we got stunned over here, but it's okay, we did the job. You don't take damage, you don't take poison from it. And as you can see, it's sticking quite nicely. So fighting on the poison itself can be a huge bonus. Okay, let's get out of this nonsense. Now let's just eat a few pills and you can see. I think that's pretty decent. Probably, like I said, 10% damage. Now let's see how fast you can charge it. Or if you can charge it at all during this fight. Well, I guess I'm simulating real gaming conditions. Yeah. So, as opposed to some other skills, this one is pretty easy to charge considering all of this nonsense. The bulls actually fight together pretty well. Oh, he's not charged, okay. Now it's charged. Get hit again, but it doesn't matter because we hit all of them. And yeah, now we can heal or just take a pill. You get so many pills along the game. Only problem is that sometimes the heal doesn't really trigger as it should trigger. As you can see, the poison is a little bit to them, and this is not even a poison build. Otherwise, you can imagine how much more you can deal with this. We'll not go into the builds, like I said, because that will take even longer, but you can probably do some math, and if this is how it works without being basically in a build, you can imagine how good it is with the proper build and proper set of armor. Let's go to the next one. Like I said, that one, it will be just for the attack charge speed. So it doesn't even matter that we cannot really fight with it. Not even maxed out yet. So let's go without it charged so we can see how hard it is to actually pull it off, because I saw some people playing with this build and, well, they make it look easy, but it's not that easy. Because it's pretty hard to hit someone with it. Also, I don't have a bug where the monkey just decides to do a heavy attack. Oh, this feels so nice, being able to charge it so fast. Don't be bad. Don't be so mad, little bro. Okay, yeah, I really hate this bug or whatever it is. I want to discharge of the attack. Okay, it's ready. Now, like I said, you have to prepare it so much. That's it. That's kind of... doesn't really do a lot of HP damage or stuff like that, but it's probably useful. Okay, let's just do it now from the beginning. Bye-bye. So, like I said, this is a very good passive, but using it in combat it's much harder than it looks because it has such a long wind-up time. Ah, whatever, we'll not insist on it. Yeah, it's just a little harder to pull off, so it's more or less interesting because of the passive effect. Next on the red-haired Yaksha. Well, there's not much to say about this one. What you see is what you get. I think this will even work on some other New Game Plus stuff because it's so nice. Plus the extra heavy damage will be interesting. Let's see if you can use it once and then charge it, because most people that do this don't really show how hard it is to charge some of this stuff. So that's why if it has a very good passive effect, it's even better, because you'll be able to use it a lot. Think of it in terms of total damage. About 8 times my damage. Oh, that was a crit. Yeah, that was a crit as well. So if you crit to this thing, it can kill most enemies. I don't think we'll get another chance to use it. Yeah, even though it says moderate cost over there, it's still pretty hard to charge. And also because it kills the enemy so fast, you're not going to get a lot of targets left. Let's use some... Wow. You see what I mean? These guys are not very tough, they don't do that much damage, but their combos are almost as good as you sometimes. Anyway, this is the average player, right? Just trying to hit them so I can charge it again, but it's probably not going to be usable once or twice per battle. I mean, after you use it the first time. I could also use a drink that restores ki, right? But let's finish this guy off. And let's destroy his shield, because if he even has the shield in hand, he'll still negate the entire damage before he uses it. Doesn't really say how much extra damage you gain with your heavy attack, but I suspect it's somewhere around 20% more attack, which is great as it is. Now, as for the summon build, like I said, it doesn't really matter that much, but it can be very, very useful in certain situations. And also you'll get to see the little Ginsenling just stumbling around and seeing how much fun he can have on his own. And like I said, the top and bottom, stuff like that, speeches like that are very useful in New Game Plus, but here they're not as useful because they have limited usability and you can only use them a few times and then that's it. You can probably use them 2 times per boss battle or something like that. Also think of this in terms of immobilization and damage, so yeah, you have to think a little bit outside of the box when you're using some of these spirits. See, it's actually pretty hard to summon. You cannot really see the amount of damage it deals. Let's just hope you can see him in action. Come on, fight back. Yeah, see? It almost does as much damage as I did with the stab swing, except when he hits the full combo. Yeah. It actually does a little more than what damage am I dealing currently. That's nice. But that's, I don't know, it just is a very, very interesting gimmick, and I think it can even distract some enemies or even some bosses. Very fun to use. Overall, you have a lot of options, but these are the options I use mostly throughout my initial playthrough.